something to tell us about cholesterol.
Okay, cholesterol is one of the biggest misnomers. We've been scammed again, and this is a big one. And if you ask your doctor about this, chances are they probably won't know because this is all new information. LDL cholesterol, which is what doctors will say, oh my gosh, your cholesterol is high, we need to put you on medication. Well, here's the deal. LDL cholesterol heals the body. So if you have a lot of LDL cholesterol, that means your body's healing itself. And Western medicine wants to stop that, so that's why they prescribe drugs. HDL cholesterol is the return of the used LDL cholesterol, and it returns it to the liver. What is bad in cholesterol is actually oxidized cholesterol. And what that is cholesterol, which is a healthy cell. It is oxidized through fluoridation. And this is why they're putting fluoride in the water, one of the other reasons. It causes the cell to go from a circular cell to something that goes up and down and up and down, kind of like a hill, a valley, a hill, and a valley. And the body not use that construct, so it is identified as a toxin, and the body kicks it out. So the bad one is oxidized cholesterol. LDL cholesterol heals, and that's why when people are on cholesterol medication, they start getting brown spots, their skin starts to thin. It's because the LDL cholesterol is not healing the body any longer. The brain is 80%, 80% cholesterol. So if you're not getting good cholesterol, which is healthy fat, like butter, if you're not getting real organic butter to your brain, it's not getting fed. And if you don't feed your brain, that's when dementia starts to set in. And you can cure Alzheimer's in 30 days just by changing the fat to a coconut oil. And neurosurgeons have actually done this. If you look on YouTube, there is an example there where this lady cured her husband in 30 days with coconut oil because it's a healthy oil. We need to get away from this notion that fats are bad, because fats are not bad. Some are, like animal fat, you got to really watch that. But butter is a good one. Fake butters are bad. Fake oils are bad. You want cold-pressed oils, and those haven't been heated up to be destroyed and considered toxic. Yeah, another one?
I'm glad you said that, though, Sam, because I'm lactose intolerant completely, and I cannot have any cheese, milk, butter, any of it, and I take coconut oil 4 tablespoons a day. And I just stick the spoon in and put it in my mouth and let it melt in my mouth. And I have coconut oil every day.
Well, you're probably not lactose intolerant. You're probably allergic to all the chemicals that is in milk and cheese and stuff.
If you went organic or raw,
if you go organic or raw, you would probably do better. But I also would have to question whether or not you have enough probiotics in your stomach to break down the enzymes that are coming in from the milk.
Okay.
So if you don't have the right probiotics, so I would start there and do that, because you should not be intolerant. You're really going to be intolerant from toxins.
I was so wondering about that, because my grandparents had a dairy farm, and as a child, I could have all of it, but it was fresh, and raw.
Right. This is the thing that is kind of interesting about milk products being homogenized, and what happened back east with that particular farmer who was selling raw milk, and the FDA came in and stomped on him, is that raw milk doesn't have the homogenization that kills all the good stuff in milk. So the milk that has been homogenized is basically dead milk.
Yes, indeed. Okay, Sam, I have a question for you. ADHD, no?
Well, ADHD is kind of still learning about this. One of the things that's really incredible about ADHD is that children that listen to Mozart or that 432 megahertz that I was telling you about can actually reprogram their brain, is what they're finding out, with the right frequency. But what I'm finding out with ADHD has to do with that. Number one is it's a low sugar in the kids' diet. Number two is all the injections, because the Amish children do not have any non-ADHD children. And also, the mother is pregnant. What is she digesting that the infant is getting? Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of it has to do with the injections and the diet. And they have found out, even Bill Clinton did this with a dysfunctional school where the kids were all really rowdy and rambunctious. They changed the diet, and they went completely organic, raw food diet. And the kids, within days, their behavior changed. They became more docile, quiet, attentive. They were absorbing more in school. Their grades went up to A's, and they were not aggressive.
That's very interesting, because my son was diagnosed with it, and I totally agree with you. The injections, he was an ICU baby for 2 weeks, and they stuck him so many times. So for the first year, he was very, just average sweet. But after about a year, 18 months, he would start having these horrible temper tantrums to the point to where his behavior, I almost thought he was autistic. I had him to 5 different doctors, and come to find out, one nurse did some digging at a doctor's office I'd had him, and she found out that nowadays 1 in every 10 children have a super high tolerance to pain. So, but my son is one that has, as soon as he hit that 18-month, 2-year period, he was a completely different child after all the injections. So it was very traumatic for him.
Yeah,
so,
I have a very good friend that his son is autistic, and he did a great deal of research, and he was absolutely horrified when he realized what he had done to his son through vaccinations and stuff. And he has a tremendous amount of guilt about that right now, and trying to do whatever he can to correct it. It's a very, very sad, tragic story.
Likewise,
and,
I sympathize. Like Nancy said, I just appreciate that that type of an answer, that there is some hope for these children, because they suffer. It's really bad. And
autistic kids, you can get them back. What has happened is that the injections that they gave them put a barrier between like the left and right hemisphere, and they've kind of absorbed into their brain, but they can't get out. And so with autistic, and they're coming up, and this is Eastern medicine, not Western. Western will not even accept this. But in Eastern medicine, people are trying different modalities, and one of which is song, music, 432 megahertz, and you put headphones on the kid, and you can actually help to reprogram brain. But you have to detox them and get all those heavy metals out, and you have to put them on an organic raw food diet for a while to flush out all the poisons and put in all the nutrients. Other things that I've seen with autistic kids is having an animal, like a cat or a dog, especially a dog, because they're more passive than, say, a cat. But a dog with furry hair, it can pet the dog. They pick up the vibrations from the dog. I've also seen where autistic kids went into a pool with a dolphin, and the dolphin was able to, with their frequency, was able to bring that kid out of autism. So there are ways.
I was just going to say that. That is an amazing thing. I just brought up the link for that. Hold on here. Let me post this, at least in our chat. Okay. I had read about the dolphin therapy with autistic children, and that was an amazing, amazing story. that just it doesn't kind of in a way make any sense, but yet dolphins are very acoustic. And my friend, what he's been doing with his child is the music therapy, because being here in Washington State, he's got to go quite a ways to get his kid with the dolphin. So I just posted that dolphin thing in the chat, our chat. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Mozart is the one author that music that if you have a DVD of it and you can put it in a player and put the headphones on the kid, you can help to rewire the brain so that they start to come out of it. But they also have to have like a really clean environment, because any pollutions in the room can hamper the child. So the room has to be cleaned out. You have to have a purifier in there. You want to make sure that they're drinking purified water, not from one of the BPA plastic jugs. So you want to give them a real nutritious, clean diet, and you can bring them out. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up about the purified water. One of the things that I just absolutely have not been able to bring myself to do is buy water. And I was looking around Christmas when I was making my Christmas list. We always, as a family, submit our Christmas lists. And one of the things that I ran into, and I need to actually look this up again, is that I found fluoride filter for your tap water that was like under $7, and it also has a microfilter that it filters out all the other crap that's in our water. But I cannot buy water simply because it falls out of the sky. I cannot bring myself to buy water. I just can't do it.
Well, I think we need to make our own water filters and find out how to do it, because it's inexpensive. Do not use distilled water, because that does not clean the water. And there are some water treatments that you can do which keeps the minerals in, but takes the impurities out. So if you are going to buy a filter, you want to make sure it keeps the good minerals in. If not, you want to put your minerals back in.
Yeah, I did the research on that, and it took a little while, and I was specifically mindful of that because of the research I've done, is that a lot of the filters actually just filter everything out, and that's not really what you want. You just want to get rid of the toxins, especially the fluoride.
I think it's also very important to heal your water, no matter what you're drinking, before you take it in. Even all your food as well. I believe that Dr. Emoto's work has definitely proven that.
Yeah, you and I actually shared a little bit about our experiences with that here a couple of days ago, didn't we, Cindy?
Yes.
Yeah, I write on my Brita water filter because that's the most affordable way I have to filter my water, and I realize it doesn't get rid of the fluoride. But I wrote on my Brita filter on the plastic canister, chi of love, happiness, joy, and laughter. So
I have a sticker. I have a sticker on my desk here that I have written on it, thank you, I love you, gracias, arigato, merci beaucoup. I have it in thank you and I love you in several different languages written all over this, and I set my glass of water on top of it for a few minutes, and after I'm ready to drink it, I hold it in both of my hands. I always drink it out of glass. I try to stay as far away from plastic as I can, and just love it as you're drinking it into your body. So I feel that has had a profound effect on me and my frequency and my health. And also, Muggsy, what you were saying about the 432 hertz, that is so important. Because I was a musician for many years. I sang in many bands all over Louisiana, and nowadays I just don't resonate with most of the music that I was performing. And I've discovered the 432 hertz and Jamie B. Turf and Fred Cusinotto and many people. There's a gentleman in the United Kingdom who's doing a lot of research on this, and So I was just trying to find Jamie's the Cosmic 432 presentation on YouTube. I'm gonna drop that in the chat room, but I really encourage everybody to look into to look into the music that they're listening to, because that sound frequency that's going through your body, if you're not listening to the right frequency, it is damaging your body and causing illnesses too. I fully believe that.
And also, too, we need to have filters in our showers, because when you're showering and that water is hot, you're now breaking down the water molecules so you can inhale it, which goes right into your cells, one. And two, your skin has a bunch of pores, which are mouths. So you're just covering your whole body with fluoride, and you can get that stuff off. And a good filter is only going to cost you like $20. So you want to make sure you're getting a shower filter. If you take a bath, make sure you get a bath filter, and they do have them. I have them on mine. I don't live in a house that won't have a shower filter.
So you have those, you have a website that has those filters?
Oh, you probably just...
Yeah, you can look them up. There's different ones, but you want to make sure that you're getting the fluoride in particular out. Because I've been studying essential oils, because with my career, what we've done is I have studied the body, I've studied how it breaks down, what foods are contributing to it breaking down, and then to heal. And what I'm finding is one of the fastest ways to heal is essential oils. Because essential oils are breathed in and it goes right into the brain or right into the cells. So if you have a good quality essential oil, you can actually heal yourself faster than, say, an herb or, something else. Essential oils and herbs have the same cell structure as the human body. Pharmaceutical drugs do not. So we need to start thinking about putting into our body what is like our body. In World War II, they ran out of blood, and they started using chlorophyll because it's just like our body. So the body, so the body would not reject it because it has the same dynamic as our blood system and our cells and stuff like that, and it wouldn't reject it. Yeah, that's fascinating. So we need to start thinking about, if you want to heal your body, you want to use things that are like your body, so your body does. It's going to go in faster and heal you faster. You got another one?
My mic's found out. I wouldn't reset my router. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
but Mugsy's breaking up too.
Yeah, and I hear you breaking up as well. So.
I got a question for Mugsy, if you can hear this. When dealing with skin cancers, what's something like an essential oil that can help the skin cancers?
Well, once again, skin cancer is a candida yeast infection. And Western science, when they look at it, they'll say, all right, you guys, skin cancer, it's right here on topical, on top of the skin. But skin cancer actually starts underneath the skin. So when they go in and surgically remove skin cancer, it doesn't get the stuff underneath. And that's why it always grows back. Well, there's two things that I know that work really well. One is cannabis oil. And on YouTube, there are a few guys that have actually done a day-to-day videotaping of how they got rid of their skin. You can see what it does. It goes down into the bottom where it actually resides in the body and then brings it up to the skin, and then it heals it. And the other one is, I have had clients that have actually used baking soda and water and made a paste and put it on top of the skin cancer, and the skin cancer went away. So what I would do if I had skin cancer is I would use cannabis oil and baking soda and make a paste and put it on there, and then wrap it lightly with a gauze, because you want the oxygen to get in there, but you want it to stay next to the skin. And I would do that, and I think it goes away like in 5 days. Probably 10 if
I heard
it's really bad.
I heard somebody say the same thing for psoriasis. They use cannabis oil, and then a combination of cannabis oil and coconut oil, and then baking soda or baking powder, like you were saying, as a paste, just to make a paste over their big patches. And it was something you can put in your private areas because a lot of people with psoriasis have it in their private parts.
Well, psoriasis is also caused from some kind of an allergic reaction. So you have to look at what they're eating, what poisons are they eating, and the number one culprit usually behind that is milk, because there are so many disgusting things in milk that most people will break out in psoriasis. So you want to eliminate any animal fat, especially if it's not organic. If it's tainted with a bunch of hormones and stuff, you want to stay away from that, but treating it as well. But see, I'm not a symptom healer. I want to get down to the root. I want to know what's causing it so I can stop it. That's just the way I am.
All right, then why don't we try this with each three of us? We have Cindy, Tony, and Andrew here. Cindy, why don't you tell DrSamM what's wrong with you, and she can give you her opinion.
Okay. Well, at the moment,
take a list.
Well, there's not that much because I'm very careful about what I eat. I'm fortunate to have a Trader Joe's by me and a couple other health food stores, and I try to get organic all the way around. I do not eat out. I do feel what I just went through. I just went through a 3-week-long basically just mega bronchitis. I felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. Panic attack type asthma-like attacks where I just could not get enough air, and so I really believe it's chemtrail related. And every morning when I wake up, I do, and I'm curious about this because I've heard many different perspectives on it. So you answered one question about the diatomaceous earth earlier, but in the morning when I wake up, I start off, before I even have a cup of coffee, I start off with a glass of water, and I put about a half a teaspoon, sometimes a teaspoon of baking soda. I use apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, and fresh lemon juice. And I have organic garlic, so I'll pop an organic garlic clove in, chew that up, and then chug my mixture. I call it my chemtrail cocktail, and it just really helps pull this crap out of me. But that's about the only thing that I am dealing with at this point in time. Okay.
The bronchitis is from the chemtrails. My mom has the same exact symptoms as you. We're in Arizona, and I have heard from people all over America that they have the same stuff. Bronchitis is way up. So
I'm hearing that all around the world. Friends of mine all around, everyone I know is sick right now with this very same thing. Some have all the flu symptoms, but I've never had a flu shot, first of all. But as far as the flu goes, right, I had no fever, no stomach problems, none of the rest of that crap, just the bronchial problems and the sinuses, just non-stop sinus and breathing issues.
Okay. One of the things that I found that really works well is black cumin seed oil, cold pressed. And I just posted it in the chat room, and it's at Amazon.com. It's called Black Cumin Seed Cold Pressed Oil. And there are videos of it on YouTube as well that these people had miraculous healings. My mom's been taking it for about 5 days, and she said she has not felt as good, and probably, since before she was sprayed. And she was sprayed really bad a couple of years ago. So that is one thing that she's taking. Another thing that she's using is what is called Breathe Easy, which is a essential oil. And I believe that's also on Amazon. That has really worked as well. The other thing that's really good is cilantro oil, and you want to rub that on your chest because that will pull out toxins. And let me explain something. When your body goes out to repair itself, what it does is it sends out what is called T1 cells. And these are your soldiers. And their guns are full of, like, sticky stuff. And this sticky stuff grabs onto the toxins, and then the body kicks it out. So that's why your mucus in your nose is probably really sticky.
Yes.
Okay, that's why your body's trying to get rid of it. So you want to rub this cilantro oil on your chest, and you will at night when you go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, don't be surprised if it's really sticky. It's because it's pulling it out of your bronchial system.
Okay, and you said something earlier about detox foot pads. Now, when you said that, that triggered a memory. I have 4 children, and this was an old grandmother's remedy. When I was raising my babies was, and I don't use Vicks, salve, or, the other, Vaseline. I don't use those products. I don't use any, I try to use organic soaps and cleaners in the house, organic, toothpaste, organic, I go the whole route with every product that I use, but, so this oil, if you rub it on your chest, my grandma told me a long time ago that this was when I was raising my kids, that if you have a baby that's got a croupy cough, or yourself, that you could rub Vicks salve on your feet. And I'm just curious if this oil, if it would help pull it out of your body as well, rubbing it on your feet and putting a pair of socks on before you go to bed.
The essential oil, yes. The essential oil, putting it on your feet is a very good idea, especially with kids. Because it does pull it out, yeah.
Yes.
And you can look up, different essential oils. Breathe Easy has already been done for you, but you can do your own combination and look it up. I looked tonight. There's a lot of information out there. Those are the ones that I really like. The other one that I really like is Mucinex. Their top brand. It's like 15 bottles, and I don't like over-the-counter stuff. But this stuff works so well at getting that crap off your bronchial tubes.
Yes. It is one, I love Mucinex. I have to say, it is one heck of an expectorant. It pulls it up and gets it out. I agree.
And then for the panic attacks, that's because your body's freaking out because it's not getting enough oxygen. So one of the things that I did with my mom is I went and got a fish pump, that you use in fish tanks.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I went and got her one of those because they're only like $12, $16. And she takes the tube and she just sticks it right in her nose, so she's getting extra oxygen, and she keeps it handy for when she's having panic attacks when she's not getting enough oxygen.
Okay, so you're talking about the tube that connects to the air pump. There's also a siphon hose that you can hand siphon water out of your aquariums to clean the gravel for underwater or under gravel filters in aquariums.
No.
That's a big hose. I was wanting to get the difference. So yeah. But what I do was just normally when I'm trying to get, if I'm low on oxygen, I do my breathing exercises. But this crap just makes it to where you're scrambling to catch a breath and you're coughing all this crap up out of your chest, but your sinuses are so blocked up that it's almost impossible to get any air through. So it goes through a little fit for a good 30 minutes until I can clear the airways. And that's, so each one of these these pieces of advice, the cumin and the Breathe Easy, that's just, I'm definitely going to purchase them tomorrow.
And the other thing we do, and Dave started on this, is you get one of those like Afrin bottles or something, and I don't use Afrin. I just go and buy the stuff, and then I dump out Afrin, and I clean out the bottle, and I put in purified water, and then I put 1 drop of oregano oil. Dave does 4, but he's insane. But I just do 1. And the reason being is because if you have an infection in your nose, this will kill it. And chemtrails are spraying 3 different kinds of molds. And
Yes.
okay, it ends up in your nose, and you'll end up with polyps and a sinus infection and all kinds of stuff. This oregano oil gets rid of it. And so I do it in the morning and I do it at night. If it burns, that means you have an infection. Because I know people that put it in their eyes, and I don't recommend doing that. Don't do it, because if you got an infection, it's going to burn. But I saw a guy do it once, and it doesn't burn. If there's no infection, it won't burn. So, but that's a good way to keep your nose and your sinuses clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And those are the things that I tried.
Can we go back to the fish pump? Because I had read, or actually I think it was a YouTube video about how to oxygenate your water, and he was using a fish pump just in his water pitcher and running that for about 30 minutes to put more oxygen in the water. And I have an air compressor. I'm a modeler, so I have an airbrush. And that's what I do with my water also. I'd actually stopped doing that. I totally spaced it out, and I'm going to have to go back to that because that's one of the better ways to get more oxygen in your blood is simply drinking oxygenated water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I totally agree. Yes, I don't see where that could hurt anything at all. It would definitely improve because it puts the water in motion.
Right.
Water has memory, and if water can sit on top of a word and be changed, then I'm sure moving it. And there's something else I do. I will set my water in front of some good 432 hertz music before I drink it, and I play music to my water before I drink it. Sometimes I do all kinds of stuff with my water. I love it. So. Yeah, I don't see where that would be. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, good idea.
And that was Greg Prescott. Greg Prescott, he's the one on YouTube that did that, and he owns in 5D. So if people want to look at it, it's Prescott. It's how it looks, but it's Prescott. So if you guys want to go look at it, I know who that is. Right.
There's some really great video on Wilhelm Reich, who was the kind of the inventor of orgonite, and his story is very fascinating in how he came into understanding this stuff. Another guy is he was part of the German UFO Nazi UFO program, but his origin, Schauberger, Victor Schauberger, was a guy who started in the 20s in Germany. He was a naturalist, and he was kind of raised as a backwoods kid, and he really was in tune with nature. And one of the things that he really truly understood was the motion of water and how to use that, and how water in motion is not only oxygenated, but it's simply the motion of the water that makes it so incredibly healthy, and that there's some very interesting energetic dynamics within water that's been in motion that the body can actually bring into itself, and resulting in a higher energy and health. One of the things that I read about, and there's actually a YouTube video on this, and I think it's called clay bowl singing. And this is a result of some William Reich Victor Schauberger information. And it's very interesting because when he was doing his research, he found that the indigenous cultures, which have been all across this planet and murdered, raped, pillaged, and genocided, one of the things they used to do in ancient times is do this clay bowl singing with the water in a bowl. And what they would do, and it's worth watching the video because it needs to be done in a certain way, is that they fill a very large ceramic vessel with water, and they swirl it. one direction, and they use a musical tone either going up or down. I forget what the sequence is, as they're swirling it one direction, say for instance, and I may have my information a little bit mixed up, but it's worth looking into. It really makes
You're so correct, Tony. I just stumbled upon Victor Schauberger and also Walter Russell, and what they're doing by spinning it is creating a vortex. So if you think about our universe that we're in, the golden mean, that spiral, they're creating a vortex, which is in a sense putting it in the same motion as we're flying through this universe right now in the vortex. And so, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, but the process
I'm fascinated.
The process is that this water get to, with a stick, you get it swirling one direction, and using your voice, which is emitting a vibration and a frequency, you're singing to the water in this clay bowl. So you're swirling it around one direction and the tone going downward, for instance. And like I said, I may have this backwards. And then you start swirling it the other direction, singing into the water again, going upwards. So what you're establishing, and all this stuff, this is what's so cool about this stuff, is that when you start looking at the big picture, it's all very natural, and we see, at least science now is starting to prove some of these things, is that by doing that tone upwards and downwards, and also swirling the water two different directions and singing to it, that creates a waveform, an energy and a frequency waveform, which is the essence of all life, is waveform, energy, and frequency.
It is. It's an electromagnetic connection to the macrocosm and the microcosm. As above, so below.
So below.
Yes. So
that's what that means. It's literal in a physical sense, but it's also as above in the wave motion, so below. They're denoting that it's a wave, an energetic wave. So this is the thing about these ancient sayings, is that it's not just telling us one thing, it's multi-layered. And that's the thing that is utterly fascinating about sacred geometry, because there's so much information imposed in just the simple sacred geometry. It's
absolutely.
I'm having fun now, man.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's literally all about sound and water sound. There's so much that it's actually so simple, and it's so fascinating, but when you're listening to the right frequency and you're drinking the right water, you also have to remember that it doesn't matter if you're drinking your water, just as you're walking around throughout your day, you need to heal the water that's in your body. And so the more that you do plug in to source, the Mother Nature, get outside and you eat properly and you listen to the right music, and it is so possible to heal yourself. I learn more every day, and it's very empowering, and I'm very honored to be involved in discussing this with you fine folks right now. So.
Yeah, and Cindy, you're connected to a person, and this is back to the multi-layered information in not only sacred geometry, but the celestial movement, and that's Santos Bonacci that really understands this stuff deeply. And I have just been enamored with all of his videos and watching and just trying to soak all that information up. And you know, in my research and going through the stuff that I went through and discovering all these malevolent actions being taken against humanity, it got really dark for me. But Santos was one of those people that really kind of brought in the light for me, is that, you know what, we can overcome this, but we need to be informed with real information, not the BS that we're told, taught, programmed, hypnotized with. And he has such a good comprehension of the multiple layers in the sacred geometry in these ancient...
Well, not just sacred geometry, the sound, the cymatics, the astrotheology, the law. Santos has a style of bringing all the important topics together and delivering them in a palatable, digestible, understandable way. He has been my greatest inspiration. He has been the biggest influence that has woke me up and basically, and I don't agree with absolutely everything that comes out of his mouth. He is a dear friend of mine, but what he did was he created a desire in me to start seeking and learning and pick up books, and he basically he was my Morpheus. Okay, Santo is an amazing individual, and he makes people think. So.
Yeah, and you said it very well. And the way he's able to put these things together in such an understandable, synergistic way, it's quite for me, it was quite an experience of continuing my awakening and seeing this stuff and understanding it in a way that actually I would have never attempted had I been required to read it. He made it very easy. And that's what I bless him for. Is that his ability and you know, this is again why I'm so excited about this period of time that we're living in, is that we have these luminary lights that are showing up in so many different areas that it's an awesome time to be living, because there is so much information that's available, and all you have to do is set aside the time and be willing to get out of your box and journey forth. And it's so rewarding and so fulfilling.
Oh, yes.
So can I ask about a couple of health things for me?
No, I got a pen and paper ready. Because a lot of the people listening, they have the same issues, like the bronchitis one. That's very common. So I want to get this out. You know, I'm going to write a book, but until I get the thing written, I want people to have some tools. So go, hit me with your best shot.
So the one thing that I share with Cindy is that about the runny nose thing, but for me it's not pasty or anything. It is literally my nose running like a water faucet, and I always know they're chemtrailing. I'll wake up in the morning with that, and literally my nose is dripping. It's just very, very aqueous, I guess. The other thing is that starting about 2 years ago, I have this very odd thing going on with my ear, not in my ear, but on the ear itself, is that in the recesses, the ridges of the ear, I'm getting like this psoriasis thing, and I have tried everything, hydrogen peroxide, different lotions, and I cannot get this to stop, and it's literally peeling away so badly that it's making the valleys in my ear from the peeling away of the flesh bleed. I mean, it's like making a hole in my ear. And I actually was given a medication for that. Let's see, what did they give me? Hydrocortisone, and it isn't doing squat. So that's another thing. For me, you've also already given me some great pointers on how to deal with the diabetes, which I'm going to definitely incorporate. One of the experiences I've had is using the essential oil frankincense, and I kind of chose that because of not only its physical bodily health implications, but also because of the spiritual energetic work that it does with the body. So I have a little experience with that, and it's been actually very rewarding. That's pretty much
Okay,
it.
how much?
There's one other thing. I
What?
really have to force myself to drink water.
Really?
Yeah. I literally have to force myself to drink water. And that's been pretty much lifelong. My dad is the same way. My brother is the same way. But here's the interesting thing. If I do take a large glass of water in the morning, I am absolutely ravenous thirsty all day long.
Yeah, because if you don't drink, you get to a point where you no longer need it. It's like hunger pains. If you ignore your hunger pains, then they go away. Even
Yeah,
if you're
I've gone through
starving.
that whole cycle myself and lost quite a bit of weight, and I'm 6'2". I should be about 180 pounds. And it was just a natural thing. It just ignored my hunger pain, and I ended up down like 145. So I lost a hell of a lot of weight, which was not healthy for me. It actually scared. Okay, go ahead, Andrew.
Before we get too far into this, Dave's got a break time. All right, Dave, why don't you take it away on a break, and we could all refill our coffee cups and warm them up on a regular pan.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
No microwaves.
Wolf Spirit Radio.
This is Dave from the Wolf's Den Studio saying welcome to Wolf Spirit Radio. Wolf Spirit Radio is totally listener supported by folks like you who choose to help us stay on the air and grow.
My voice isn't too choppy this time. Apparently the internet's trying to censor me. But before the break, we were talking about Tony Pesic, and he was telling Dr. Sam Muggsy, about some of his symptoms.
Okay, first of all, you mentioned frankincense, and I want to tell you what that does. I got the list right here. It's really good for inflammation. It helps relieve headaches. It's good to support skin tissue recovery.
Okay. Well, then that means I'm on track, at least in some area.
Yeah, so you are, and it also enhances the effects of other oils as well. So you want to use other oils that help with the skin, and one that I really like is lavender. Lavender is really good.
I've got lavender. I do use that.
Okay, there you go. Now, as far as the allergy goes, the allergies, what we're finding out is some of the flu shots. Did you ever have a flu shot?
I quit having flu shots about 5. I haven't had one for at least 6 years.
Okay, but you still had them, and they cause allergies because they take down the immune system. So you need to start building up your immune system. However, with the chemtrails, they're spraying 3 different kinds of molds, like I said. So what you probably want to do is, number 1, get an air purifier for your house to clean out the chemicals that they're spraying, the viruses and bacteria that they're spraying. And you also want to get that oregano oil and use that spray that we were talking about.
Yeah, I wrote that down, actually.
Okay. As far as the ears are very sensitive, and the skin tissue in that area is very thin. So what is happening is you are having a toxic reaction to other things that you are doing, and the toxins are coming out of your ear and actually irritating the skin lining.
So what my hit on that was, the reason I ask about that, because I'm not sure that it's a type of psoriasis, but I do drink milk, this homogenized milk, and I'm thinking maybe that's something I need to just completely eliminate from my diet and see what happens with my ears.
I would, because there's better ones that are healthier for you. For instance, almond milk is very good for you. Organic soy is good for you.
I do the unsweetened coconut milk. I've really become a believer in that.
And the other one that I like too, is the coconut milk. The coconut, and then they also have flaxseed milk too. I've seen that out at 1 or 2 stores. But there are different alternatives that are a lot healthier for you. So you don't need milk at all. Raw milk would be to help restore your immune system and get the right enzymes in your tummy. But other than that, you really don't need it. Another good thing for your immune system and getting the right probiotics in is goat cheese. I've started eating goat cheese, and it's really good in a salad if you include berries with it.
Okay.
So
I got a question, Sam. Would it be good for him to purge his colon at this stage of the game if he's excreting toxins out of his ears?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the best ways is with a carrot. And you don't want to juice it. You want to eat one raw carrot, preferably organic, every day. Because the roughage will help clean out your colon.
I've been doing that for some time, and I also, one of my most favorite drinks is juicing carrots with the coconut milk. It is just an awesome drink.
I use the coconut milk in every one of my smoothies that I do the green smoothies. I get the power greens, and I mix a little bit of everything in there. So yes.
And it is really interesting too, because I distinctly remember the first time I did that. It was a friend of mine had been juicing a while, and I wanted to try it. So I did a couple of experiments, and I'll tell you what, broccoli juice is not fun. It sucks.
I wouldn't even advise using broccoli juice. You want to use kale or something like that. And the other thing is, be really careful with carrots. Okay, like juicing carrots, unless you're eating it raw, so that it actually, the roughage will help clean out your colon. But just juicing it, you're going to be adding a lot of sugars. And the sugars are going to help with that toxic reaction that you're having with your ears.
Oh, okay.
Beets, potatoes, things like that, you'd really want to eat too much of because of the sugars. And they're also GMO. Potatoes and the beets especially are GMO, so you want to be really careful with those. I wouldn't advise that at all. If you're going to be juicing, kale has a ton of protein in it. It's dark green, so it's going to give you oxygen. It's like chlorophyll. It would be better for you to do something like that.
Well, I think I want to get one of the magic bullets and just do it that way instead of the juicing, because I really get that you need all the roughage. So juicing, you're eliminating like half the equation.
Exactly.
Well, Tony, I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've read somewhere that at least 80% of people are not getting enough enzymes. And if you're using a microwave, you're really cutting yourself short. So, food for thought.
Yeah, I only used the microwave for heating up my coffee. That was it. But I'm still, and that was quite a shift for me, because I cooked everything in a microwave until I started doing the research and realizing if it destroys water the way it does, then what I'm eating isn't doing me any good, because it's literally killed the food.
Not only that, but it takes away the nutrients that the body has to get rid of those poisons. So if you've ever written a hot check, that's kind of what's going on with your body.
Right, it's a double whammy.
Exactly.
Not only is the food dead, but your body to process the dead food is taking more energy from it. Yeah, so, I don't microwave meals, I don't microwave anything other than my coffee. That's it. That's all I have a microwave for.
And that's too much.
I got another question. We were talking about purging. What about those people that have been eating fast food lot of their lives and are going to switch over. Is there something other than the roughage and stuff? Should they consider colonic or enema and then go on a proper? Then people are toxic. What's your suggestion there?
That's a really good one. The fast food, I believe, and Dr. Will Spencer was explaining how the chemicals in fast foods actually are petrifying your internal organs, especially your bowels. And that's why people don't have constitutions 2-3 times a day like they're supposed to. So people that aren't going poo regularly, I know some people that say they go twice a week or something. That is so minimal that you're going to be toxic. So what I recommend for that is that flush with the Epsom salts, the food grade that says laxative. You want half a teaspoon in a glass of warm water, float some virgin oil, and make sure it's cold pressed. Usually the best is in a dark green, brown, black bottle so that all the nutrients is there. And you want to do that like once a week to decalcify or petrify your bowel and get that going.
So can you say that again? The laxative salts and...
It's called Epsom salts. And the reason why I'm saying Epsom salts is because Epsom salts is cheap, and it's nothing more than magnesium. But you want food grade. So on the bottle, on the carton, it will say laxative grade. That means it's food grade. Okay. And then
what else?
And you just want to do like... You only want to do half a teaspoon. I know some people that do like 2 tablespoons or something. You'll be going poo all night long. You don't want to do that.
Okay, half a teaspoon, and then the cold-pressed...
Extra virgin olive oil.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. That was a good one.
It was. Megsy, I have a question for you. And since we've covered a lot of areas of health tonight, and the GMOs and what adults are doing and what kids are doing, but I want to ask you to discuss, in case there's any listeners out there, the infants and the importance of the diet for the mother during pregnancy and the importance of breastfeeding. And can you tell me or tell the listeners what is actually in the infant formulas that they are so... Oh my goodness! I used to counsel women on breastfeeding. I nursed 4 children, and I really do believe that is another, along with the practices that they do with the mother during the pregnancy, during the birth, and the immunization, and how they bring these babies into the world. But not only that, they do not encourage breastfeeding enough. And they want your baby to get on. I've got a friend down the road here who's got a almost year-old son, and what I have experienced with her, and she, I've been doing my best to tell her everything that I know, everything I've been learning, and everything that I already know about raising children. But she took the doctor's route. And did, she went for everything right down to the circumcision of her son. But what I'm seeing with this child is the effects of eating the processed baby foods and the infant formula. What can you tell me about that?
Well, the mother, and it's not just the mother, it's the father too. His sperm is really important.
I'm sure.
So, a year before you're ready to have a child, both parents should be eating nutritionally, because when you conceive a child, that is when the gestation begins. And whatever nutrients you're offering as an egg and sperm at that very moment actually influences that child. So it's really important for the moms and dads not to be getting injections, not to be eating processed foods, watch your alcohol content, quit smoking, because that depletes the oxygen flow to the baby. And, they've actually proven that the baby's brains will be smaller. And their immune system is hampered by the smoking. So you really want to take that seriously. And it's been proven that mothers that actually use Bach or Mozart in headphones and put that on their belly when they're pregnant, that the child actually has a higher IQ.
I completely agree.
So that all is really important. You want to make sure that you are eating to create this life that's going to have the nutrients that it needs to start life. So once the child is born, then, they're now giving up to, 22 or 27 injections before the child is 2. That is wrong.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's wrong, and there is no way that I would let a doctor do that. And I was noticing today how many kids have glasses before the age of 10. We used to never see that, hardly ever. Amish kids don't have that. So there is something even going on where they are influencing and affecting the kids' vision. And my neighbor is a nurse, and she told me that they were putting mercury into the children's eyes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Not only the eyes, but their teeth as well. I come across so many children in public and friends of mine around where I live that their kids. I've come across quite a few children, little 2, 3, 4-year-old babies who have a mouthful of silver, or and with my own children. Just through this learning process, it affects not only the eyesight but the teeth as well.
Well, I see moms, they have, they put juice in a bottle and give it to their kid. And
straight
juice
sugar.
The sugar, but not only that, there's a chemical. It starts with a B. I can't remember the name of it, but it starts with a B that keeps, supposedly or allegedly, it's supposed to keep the ring from the sediments arranging around the top of the bottle. And it's crap, because this chemical is actually outlawed in most countries. They don't allow it in because it is so toxic.
Oh, wow.
And that's what they're giving their kids. Plus the sugar, plus it's GMO. If you're not making it yourself, you can't trust what's in there. I have a really hard time with that. And then the parents that are putting Coke or Mountain Dew in the bottles and giving it to the kids.
They water it down.
Right, Matt.
They water it down. I've seen many parents do this. I see parents take their kids to Starbucks and have their children drinking coffee at 5 years old.
I'm not as concerned with that as I am Coke or Pepsi. Pepsi, they're putting feta cells in for a flavor enhancer.
Okay, true. Very true.
They're putting aspartame in it, which causes brain damage. They're putting fluoride, which causes a lower IQ. And let me tell you something else. Fluoride dissolves the filament that's on the teeth that protects your teeth. There's the filament. Your teeth are minerals, okay? That's what your teeth are, minerals. That's why you need minerals, is to help rebuild your teeth. If you eat right, have the right minerals, your teeth do not get cavities. Fluoride dissolves the filament. Once that filament is gone, then the rest can start eating away at your teeth, and that's why you end up with cavities.
Exactly.
If you take K2, which is a vitamin, get off of fluoride, you can actually regrow your teeth. And I know a lot of people doing it.
Now that you're saying that, okay, now that you've just said that, what popped into my head was I've studied Weston A. Price, and I too have a very good friend here in LA who is a registered nurse she's holistic, and I hear much of what you have said tonight come out of her mouth. But so can you tell me what your opinion or what you have to say about oil pulling for your teeth care?
What is that? Pulling?
Coconut oil pulling. I've heard people using olive oil and a couple other oils to swish in between. Like I've heard this many times, and it's been suggested to me, and I practice this every day. I wake up in the morning, and before I brush my teeth, I put some coconut oil, and I'm just on a coconut oil kick, but I put that in my mouth and swish it around in between my teeth for about 20 minutes. So
it's really good. Coconut oil does a lot, but I'll tell you something that's even better is the inside of a banana peel.
Really?
The inside of the banana peel has minerals in it, and it will help restore your filament on your teeth, and it will also help whiten your teeth.
Amazing. Okay.
Another thing that I really like for your teeth is neem. It's an herb. It's called N as in Nancy, E-E-M as in Mike. And when you brush with neem, it kills any kind of bacteria. And my mom had receding gum lines, and I got her some neem toothpaste, and her gums have restored themselves.
Where can we find that? Is this another internet Google?
iHerb.com.
iHerb.com. Okay.
I put it in the chat room.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and neem, if you look up neem is one of those herbs that I can't live without. I always have it in my cabinets, and I've gotten so many people on it because it's a natural antibiotic, and it just does so many things for the body. You should go look it up. There are people that have made websites just on neem.
I've never heard of it. That's amazing. So every day I learn something new. So neem, what is it? Is this a plant?
It's just an herb. It's a plant.
A herb. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, grill me. More.
I got another one here. Hold on a second. I want to.
And we can take questions from the chat room too. If you guys put it in all caps, Andrew will catch it, and he can ask your question for you. So if you're in the chat room and you want a question answered and you don't want to call in, Andrew can address that for you. Okay, go ahead.
All right. We were talking about purging. What is your opinion on fasting? Somebody recently came one that they told me that they do an all pineapple juice fast. What's your opinion on fasting and then the pineapple juice fast?
I don't like it because we're so toxic. People don't realize how toxic we are. The food, the drink, the water, the air, your clothes, the chemicals in the household, I mean everything. We're so toxic that if you fast, what happens is you reduce all of the fat cells, which is holding the toxins, and they all get slammed into your kidneys, your liver, and your pancreas. So I don't recommend that at all. Not today, not with the way things are. There's better ways to lose weight and detox. You don't have to fast. If you are going to fast or you feel like you want to, make sure you're taking that chlorophyll or spirulina or something like that so that it encapsulates the toxins and takes it out of your body without damaging any of your organs. Pineapple is an enzyme that's really important for your stomach. I can't eat it. If I eat just a tiny bit of it, I end up with blisters all over my mouth and my throat closes up. So for me to fast on pineapple juice, I'd probably end up in the emergency room.
The person that was describing the pineapple juice, what they were doing it was when all natural word. They actually only do it a day and a half, 2 days. And one person did it for 7 days, but it was to dissolve the putrefied stuff in your gut and to return to a natural probiotic afterward. Because it's a natural.
See, everybody's body is different. And with these new energies, our bodies are changing. So we need to be very in tune with what we're eating. We also need to be in tune with, you want to eat the rainbow. So to have one item like a pineapple, I don't like it. I mean, why would I just concentrate on one thing when you can mix it with like berries or something like that can actually help with the antioxidants and get it out of your body? I don't like just doing the probiotic or the enzyme aspect of the pineapple. I would combine it with multiple things. I should be on that commercial with a magic bullet.
Well, you should be on that commercial. But there was when you said eat rainbows, it just popped into my head. My father is a projectionist at the movie theater. Okay, so what I heard was, and having so many children and having so many Disney movies in my house, the movie Horton Hears a Who, it's all centered around, Dr. Seuss and about the world that we live in, and Horton, the big elephant, gets this flower with it, and he hears the people on it, and it's just the whole concept of the world that we live in and reality. And there's one scene on that movie where Horton has his universe on his little flower, and all the other kids of all the other species in this movie are in the woods with him, and he's older, and they're listening to him, they're talking to him, they're learning from him, and he says something about dreaming and how what you think has something to do with where you are, and one of the characters, I can't remember which one, but she made a statement, and it stuck in my head for all this time. She says, "I eat rainbows and poop butterflies." And I'm sorry, but that statement made a huge change in my perspective of things, because it's all in what you think about it, right? And so literally, you just said eat rainbows, and I had to say that.
Well, it's important because depending on the color of the fruit or vegetable will give you certain enzymes, and that's really important. We need a diversity. There's all kinds that we need. And I'm a believer that your food is medicine, and so if your body is trying to heal itself, like Tony's is, Tony needs to have a diversity of different enzymes, different colors, different ways that it synthesizes that sunshine and carbon and produce that color, that nutrients specific. So, yeah, you always want to eat your rainbow colors of fruits and vegetables, and pay attention to the ones that you're allergic to. And by the way, GMO has on the barcode, it starts with an 8 number, and that's how you always know it's GMO.
Okay.
And stay away from it because it makes tumors.
Muggsy, I wanted to ask you about that. So I've heard many different descriptions of what to look for in the GMO code on the barcode. So you say it starts with an 8. Do you know how many? What I've been hearing is that the organic around here, I'm in West Coast, California. I'm right on the coast in the middle of strawberry fields forever. So there's many farmers around here growing many products. The consensus of what I have been hearing is that it's a 6-digit number on the barcode in California that starts with the number 6, or a 4-digit number that starts with the number 4. Can you help me on this one?
I don't know the last two numbers, what those are for. I just pay attention to the first ones. I know that 4 is from Mexico, and Mexico does not do GMO. So they do not do GMO. From what I know, unless they've changed recently, they don't do GMO. The number 8 is GMO, and the way that I remember that is because 8 is actually God's number, and so they have done the flip thing.
Yep.
9 is supposed to have a numerology for, like, Satan, and that's organic. So they flipped that 6? One too.
What about 6? 6 is a flip-flop number. So like I just said, what I've been told for this area, and that 4 and 6 are your organic numbers, and it will, if it starts with a 6, it's a 6-digit barcode. If it starts with a 4 from Mexico, it's a 4-digit barcode. Have you heard similar?
4 is from Mexico. I don't know. Are you talking about the number 6 or 6?
Yeah, the
number
barcode.
6, I don't know, but I bet you we look it up right now.
Okay.
Get Merlin to do it and put it in the chat room. Mm-hmm. And somebody else talked about MMS.
Yeah, that was a question in the chat.
What was that?
They're asking about calcium chloride in MMS. What is your view on NaClO2 MMS?
MMS, I don't like it. We did a show on that with Dr. Will Spencer, and he didn't like it either. It's too much like chlorine, and you guys have to be careful because of what they're spraying in the chemtrails. You could have a really bad reaction and end up in the emergency room. It happened to my mom because somebody was talking about MMS, so we were trying everything, and boom, back into the emergency room. She couldn't breathe.
That's interesting because maybe that's the reason why I had ordered some MMS a year ago, and it never showed up. Then I've never pursued this because the charge went through on my father's credit card, but the product never showed up. I'd been recommended MMS from several people, but I never received it, so I've never had it, and that's very interesting. But can I ask you this one? This conversation is bringing up some questions. Liquid iodine. What are your thoughts on that for the radiation?
Liquid iodine. Let me explain. I live in Arizona, and we have brown recluse spiders. And when they bite you, the skin literally dies. It turns all black. You go to the hospital, and they just want to cut out a big chunk of you. And what I found with liquid iodine is that if you get a spider bite or something like that, and you circle it with liquid iodine, it will contain the venom from that spider bite. And what I did with I got bit by a brown recluse, of course, and I circled it so that it wouldn't go that far because it was right next to my chest, and it freaked me out. So I thought, oh my God, they're going to cut half my chest away. So I circled it and contained it, and then I put habanero oil on it, kill it so that it wouldn't get infected, and then I pulled the venom out my foot. So I put detox foot pads on, and I know that at your hips, the meridian lines change course. So if it's on the right side that you get bit, it's going to come out your left foot. And that's what happened. And I know for a fact that it came out my foot because all the skin died off the bottom of my foot. I had big chunks of skin coming off.
Interesting.
But I never had problem the spider bite. So for that, I like you don't necessarily have to take it if I take seaweed. I get we have a Japanese store, and they have seaweed with teriyaki sauce and stuff, so I eat lots of that to keep my thyroid functioning properly, because in bread, and I learned this in school, and I shut my book and went down to our local Safeway, and I went through all of their breads, and each one of them had, I think it's bromine or something, is a chemical in store-bought breads that malfunctions your thyroid.
It's bromine. Bromine.
Bromine. Once your thyroid is malfunctioned, then that's how they get diabetes to set in, because your thyroid regulates the glucose into insulin. Your thyroid regulates your hormones. So if your hormones are going out of whack, it could be due to this. It would be one thing I would look at. So then you need to detox and make sure that you're eating, nori or something like that has natural iodine in it.
Interesting.
So Andrew, can we back up a second, because you have a solution regarding spiders in your house?
Ooh.
Yes. Anything acidic, like an orange, or there's a fruit that falls off of trees here that that does a whole house. Citrus itself, anything citrusy will repel spiders from your house because it burns their antennae.
So you just cut a lemon or any acidic fruit open and just leave it open, and from what you were sharing, Andrew, is that it will affect the entire house quite quickly.
Watch them run.
Well, what you're saying, it makes perfect sense. I was raised in the Midwest and the South, and brown recluse and the black widow spider are prominent in those areas. And I've known many people who've been bitten and survived, and I've known a few who have lost their lives to these bites. And the oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought, but sorry, I've got too many messages coming at me at one time, and I completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, I've heard.
I got one better than that. If you have a sprayer and you put peppermint oil in it, citronelle oil, rosemary, and I put what's the other one? I put tea tree oil, and I put it all in my sprayer, and I spray my house. Peppermint oil will kill a brown recluse. So it kills all the bugs, and it will kill bugs for approximately a year. So you only have to do it once a year.
That's good to know.
And then when it rains, oh my God, it smells so good. You don't have to worry about the toxic fumes or anything like that. So if anybody wants a home-based business, email me and I'll give you my recipes. I forgot all the ones that I use, but citronelle, rosemary. But the peppermint oil will actually burn the eyes of the brown recluse spiders and they die. So I didn't have any around my house for about a good year.
That's fascinating and very good to know. Muggsy, what is your email address?
My email address is Muggsy@Yahoo, Mugzca @yahoo.com.
Okay.
I got a poison question. What if somebody gets bit by a snake? What's the DrSamM Muggsy's opinion there?
I don't like snakes. I'm terrified of snakes. I don't like them. They have actually shots that you can get if you lived in a snake area. They have snake kits, but as far as like the venom or anything like that, I wouldn't know. I don't know. I do.
No. As a matter of fact, my father was one of the first people who survived being bitten by an Indian cobra in the state of the United States. He was in school for marine biology, but on the side he helped out with a snake farm in Galveston, Texas, and they milked all these poisonous snakes for their venom, because the cure for the bite is the venom itself, and it's mixed with horse's blood, because horses are immune to poisonous snake bites. And my father was bitten by an Indian cobra, and she hooked her fang into the quick of his fingernail and dumped 12 times the normal lethal amount of venom into my dad. And they had to fly from Fort Worth, Texas, by Air Force jet to Galveston, Texas, the anti-venom. And this was, I want to say, about 3 or 4 years. I was born in 1974, so this was 1970 maybe. And he was one of the first recorded survivors from a Indian cobra bite. And she hooked her fang into my father's fingernail, in between the quick and the nail, and dumped 12 times, because a cobra is, I want to say it's I can't think of the term, but there's certain snakes like a ball python that will bite you and tap you. They'll hit you and back off. But then cobras are a snake that will bite you and hang on and continue to chew down and close their jaws. Every time they close their jaw, they are pumping a dose of lethal venom into your body. And depending on your size, depends on your outcome or your survival status. And my 12 that they could remember counting. The snake farm was in operation for the purpose of milking the venom for the research. And my father happened to be a survivor from the anti-venom, which is the snake's venom plus horse's blood. And they inject it into your body, and it will do one of two things. It will kill you quicker, or it will push the venom out the point of the entry of the venom. So we've been through this, and that's very interesting stuff there. So I guess it's a matter of whether there is an anti-venom available in the area that you live in. And from what I understand, in each state, they I haven't looked into this for quite a while, but I believe that they try to make sure that they have an anti-venom available in each state for snake bite victims. So if anybody gets bitten by a snake, it's very important that they get to help immediatly, especially your deadly poison snake. Hello?
Oh, I had my mute. But I had my mic. My mic was muted there. I was just so we got a thing on poisons there. I guess my next question is people that are having organ transplants. Obviously, there's something much sicker wrong with them. What's your recommendation when people are in that illness and let's say they're preparing to have a liver transplant or a heart transplant?
Okay. Why did you wait so long that you would have to go that way? The body repairs itself. So before you go giving up your body part, it never dies. So all you have to do is give it the nutrients that it needs, because each body part, like the heart, will need something specific. For instance, the number one culprit for heart disease is not cholesterol. The number one culprit for heart disease is your imitation butters. Your non-fat, low-fat products put fissures in your veins or your arteries that lead to your heart. So what happens is your body goes, oh my God, we got a problem here. Blood's gonna seep out of the veins. We need to pack it with LDL. So the LDL cholesterol goes and starts packing into those fissure areas that were caused from your no-fat, low-fat product. And if you have a heart issue, it's because you're not getting the right fats that keep it healthy. So if you're eating your, I can't believe it's not butter, your chance, it's been proven that heart disease has gone up 600% ever since the fake butters have gone on the market. And in Japan, they do not give you heart medication. What they give you is CoQ10, and what I would recommend, CoQ10 will help to restore the heart, but also you need krill oil. I do not use fish oil. It gets rancid. You want krill oil because that's your omega-3 fatty acids, and that will help to repair. If you're over the age of 50, you want to get ubiquinol. Ubiquinol is CoQ10 that's turbocharged. And what happens is as we get older, your body makes less and less of this. And so after 40, especially, you start wanting to pay attention and supplement. There are only a few items that our body really needs to sustain homeostasis. And that would be krill oil and your CoQ10 that I know of. Right now we're in a repair status, so you're going to have to repair those organs. You need to make sure that you're getting the right oils, omega-3s and omega-6, omega-9, so that your body can actually heal itself.
You know, I heard that fermented skate oil is actually very, very powerful, more so than the krill oil. What do you know about that?
Well, anything fermented is going to be really good for you. It was fermented snake oil?
Skate, as in the manta ray, the small kind of manta ray. They're called skates, as in roller skates.
Oh, I have not heard about that, but it would have to depend on what region it comes from, because the warmer waters are going to be less effective. The colder regions, they're going to have more of the fatty acids that we need. That's why the Norway salmon is better for you, because it's going to have more fatty acids in it, the more omega-3s.
Yeah, the other one that I heard was ratfish liver oil from the Scandinavian countries, and that stuff, I've looked it up, it's really expensive, but I've also heard that that's one of the highest, most powerful types of fish oils that you can get, and the way that it's specially processed, there's no corporate influence in that particular processing that they do there, so it's very, very pure.
I would say if